Welcome EHEDG members and EHEDG followers here on LinkedIn to this EHEDG Connects news update that is all about the official launch of a new EHEDG guideline document. EHEDG Guideline Document 13, a general hygienic design principles guideline about open food process equipment. And this guideline underpins the new OPC test method and EHEDG certification scheme for open food process equipment. So very exciting news. And with us today is the presenter of an upcoming webinar on this topic. His name is Gianpaolo Betta, and he is one of the official EHEDG authorized evaluation officers in Italy. Let us dive right in. How is this guideline connected to the EHEDG certification scheme?
The certification for open equipment was already and is already available. It was available in the past, but for really a limited number of and types of equipment, very basic design equipment, because we hadn't any test to prove the cleanability in the past, and so in case of doubt we could not certify anything. So with this very important new method that we have now, we can extend, we hope, a lot the scope of the certification for open equipment within the EHEDG certification scheme.
Now, just to manage the expectations of our viewers upfront, Gianpaolo, I think there are still some limitations regarding the dimensions, the size of certifiable open process equipment components, right?
Yeah, in the actual used procedure, we just have a theoretical evaluation from an AEO of the design and documents, because we didn't have any test available. But in the next future, starting from the summer, we can test open equipment, so we can also certify more complex equipment with a more complex design where we have doubts about the actual cleanability. So, and in the future, yes, we will have limitation in sizes, because every time we have a test, a laboratory test, we also have some limitation for the test, and so we can only certify something that we can test. So based on the limitation of the method, we will have size limitation, of course. Yeah.
When it comes to certification in general, EHEDG certification, these certificates, they are based on tests, which in turn are again based on these hygienic design guidelines, right? These general hygienic design principles, but also very specific guidelines that relate to certain types of equipment. How does this work with this specific OPC guideline?
Yes, you know, certification is based on conformity with EHEDG guidelines. This is basically EHEDG certification. So as AEOs, we make an evaluation of the equipment based on the guidelines. And the current document on open equipment is quite too general, I would say. So there are not enough specific requirements. So we needed something more specific, something more detailed to make this assessment, to make this evaluation. So this new guideline, this new number 13 guideline, is in the field of general requirements, so same as document 8. So we want to give general requirements, so valid for every type of open equipment intended for wet cleaning, of course. And but we want to go in details regarding all the aspects that are important to prevent any hazard for consumers, so to prevent any food safety issue related to equipment. So we cover various topics in these guidelines, because we want to cover all the necessary aspects relevant for food safety.
Now, Gianpaolo, we are very happy that you are willing to conduct a webinar on this topic and go more into details of this very important development within the food industry. What topics do you want to address in your webinar presentation?
Yeah, I would like to give an overview of the whole guideline, because I think it's important to have an idea of the whole content, so what is in, and then maybe it's good to focus on some specific topics that are very relevant and, how to say, hot topics for open equipment. In general, we have the same requirements for closed and open, so the general criteria are the same. We want to achieve the same results, I mean. But there are some specific topics that are more relevant for open equipment than for closed. So I want to mainly focus on those topics.
Now, those who already have attended one of our previous EHEDG Connects webinars know that each presentation online is then followed up by a live Q&A session. In this case, with you, Gianpaolo, what kind of questions do you expect to get?
So I expect that people, have doubts if some requirements are really relevant in a specific case, because maybe if you can reach with your hands a surface and you can clean it manually, you don't need to follow some rules, and vice versa. If you want to just spray cleaning and you cannot reach with your hands, or it is not intended to be reached by hands, so you need to follow different rules. So clearly, write guideline, write document. You need to have very clearly in mind the scope, and then you have to accept compromises.
Gianpaolo, would you please do me a favor and invite anyone who is watching to join?
Yeah, I really encourage everyone to join this webinar. And after this webinar, I'm sure that you will have a clearer mind about the certification process for open equipment and what we want to achieve in the next future regarding certification of open equipment. And I will explain and show you the most important aspects relevant for open equipment to prevent hazards and so to prevent incidents in food safety.
Gianpaolo Betta, thank you very much for providing us with these insights into the contents of your upcoming webinar, a webinar that is free for all. Just register up there, down there, there's a link. Thank you very much, Gianpaolo.
Yeah, you're welcome, Rob, and see you soon.